Alright, today we are going to change the oil on a Relatives Honda 700 Pioneer. We have some pots, which we will get to. Mostly this is just us going through the how-to of changing the oil. Alright, so the first step on this is to access the engine. We're just going to grab the front lip of the front seat here. Voila! There's stuff under there. So I'm going to throw this in the back and then keep going. Alright, so underneath here, there's panels to get to stuff. These are just little access panels. You just take them right off. But I wanted to go through real quick these push pins. I'm not at my shop and I'm not at work, so now we get to go through how to use a push pin or how to release a push pin. I'm going to use these, and while in a tough situation you can use it to cut through the center. See how it popped up right there? Boom. Loose. So that's all I'm going to do is just kind of get under the lip there. I'm going to switch hands here. Get under the lip. Twist a little bit and pull up. And hey look, there's an engine. Alright, so we'll get this out of the way. We'll get the other one out of the way. And we're going to switch camera people here. And we'll show you how to get to everything else. Alright, so down here is the other maintenance piece. You can see it doesn't have any push pins on it, so we're just going to real careful pull it up, because the oil filter cup is on this side, and on this side you very carefully pull this up. If you've got a lot of crap under here, make sure that you're not spilling it all over your engine and such. Down here is the dipstick, right there. If you need to check your oil, that's your dude right there. Threads in. Anything in between these two little ticks right there and there means that you're full. This one actually smells a little bit like fuel, which means it probably isn't running up to temperature a lot. It's not really being ridden hard, that kind of thing. It probably doesn't help that it's started a lot when it's cold and it's moved short distances. It needs ridden more. Yeah. Anyways, that's how you check your oil on these. You want to be sure that you wipe them clean before you check them. It's not accurate unless it's been wiped clean. And normally I'd use a rag, but I don't want to stop filming for that at the moment, and I'm just going to get dirty. So screw it all the way down in there, unscrew it, pull it back out. Voila, it's right there about full. So go with that. I'm just going to put that back so I don't lose it or get it dirty, and we'll move on to our next step. So underneath here, there's front tires. You can see those. You can see where some stuff is scraped on the bottom. You just keep going back. You see the rear tires there. Kind of give you an idea where this is. There's a maintenance panel. It's right there. It's got 4 10mm headed fasteners, and we are going to take those off. Okay, I'm going to stop the camera and then take them off with 2 hands, and we're going to go from there. But just so you get the idea, it's right there. I'll take those bolts out and be able to get that panel up out of the way so we can get to the main drain plug there. Okay, this is where the bolts were. And these are the factory bolts. See how they got that little standoff on them? And that's to put a stop so you can't crush something and over tighten it. So I'm just going to take this. I'm just going to shove it out of the way. Like that. And then this 17mm headed rascal is what we are after. Ta-da! Okay, so this is our 17 millimeter headed drain plug, and this is a bucket because the drain pan has magically disappeared from said relative's garage. And I can manage to get my hand in there. This is about as much fun as it looks like. And I'm just gonna drop it in there and just let her drain. It should only have a little over 3 quarts in it. Voila! Alright, we got oil. Move that so I can see we got oil draining, folks. Partially off my hand, but it's draining. Okay, we are over here, the passenger side. We actually found the drain pans. Right there is the oil filter housing. This is probably mostly going to be footage of the side of my arm. Yeah, I'm gonna break that loose. Give me a second. Okay, we're broke loose. As I mentioned, I do have a drain pan underneath the machine. And also that this would probably be a lot easier with a ratchet, but you do with what you got. There's been a huge volume of bolts that have been taken out with hand wrenches over the years. It's hard to argue with the results. I see one O-ring on that bolt. So she's out. Looks like that. And this other part, sometimes you gotta get a screwdriver or something in there, hoping maybe the mechanic hands will get that out, but not looking like it. I'm gonna get a screwdriver and pop that out. Alright, take a screwdriver and just real careful kind of work around there. It's literally just the O-ring that sticks, as you can see down in there. There she goes. O-ring down. So, there's that. It goes with that bolt there. And then here we have an oil filter. Yay! Okay, so we're gonna go through real quick. This is the O-ring, goes around that bolt. This the O-ring goes around the case. Case O-ring. Just take a small screwdriver or pick, work that out. Do the same thing with this one right here. And a lot of people are saying, well, mine wasn't leaking, so I'm not going to replace it. Well, you probably should. And that's one of the reasons I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and buy the Honda brand kit for that. You can see this one's just a little bit thicker because we ended up with an aftermarket due to a miscommunication. But I just put just a little bit of skookum around there, and it'll fall in like that. And then these two, as you can see, are pretty much the same size. And we'll walk this one back down over it, and we'll be set to go. The oil helps keep the O-ring from twisting, because if it's got a bad twist in it, it might leak. What you can do if you think you've got it twisted is to take your small screwdriver and just work it around. Even if it's down in its channel, just work it around, and that will release any twist that you have in an O-ring. Alright, I'm going to put these back together and we will go on back to the machine. Alright, so this is our filter. Take a little bit of the oil that's on my hand, kind of work it around those seals, because the bolt here is going to go all the way through that. I'm going to go ahead and push this into place down here. Just like that. It's sort of in there. That's sorted together. Get the bolt started through my filter. There may be an easier way to do this, but if it is, I've never done it that way. Alright, get that in there. I'm going to get a few threads on this bolt, and then I'm going to try and line up about where the ears were to help us get the case. Yep, still working on that. I'm going to try and get that case in there square. We don't want to try and pull on it side to side. It's aluminum and it may break. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down. We're not going to film that because you get the idea. And we'll have an oil filter in it, and then we'll go back and put the drain plug back in, and then we will show you how to fill the engine with oil. This.
Start over.
Alright, so we're going to stretch this maintenance cover back on. Little tabs. Make sure it goes over that. These things aren't foolproof and they leak dust like crazy. They're not much better about dirt, but they're nice to have because you've got electronics right here and you want to make sure that that's covered. We're going back in. This is your drain plug, which means that because it has an O-ring, we need a little bit of lubrication on that. So make sure you take like some of your old engine oil and make sure that thing's lubricated before you put it back in, because if it's dry it could cut it and then you'll have an oil leak. And as you can see, I found the drain pan. It was on top of a cabinet, and I usually store them down low because mine usually have some small level of nastiness in them. And just turn that bad dude back in like that. Find what you did with the end wrench. By the way, I initially tried this with a deep well socket and it didn't work because there's a brace back there. So get that thing relatively tight. Now I might mention that that bolt does go into stuff, it helps hold stuff, but it is not how tight you get it that seals it. It's sealed with the O-ring. So we're going to get this thing filled with oil before I put the covers back on because we don't want to forget, and we'll go from there. Alright, so this is our oil fill here. Take it out. You want to get the dust off of it first. One thing I want to mention on most things, and I'm sure this is no different, you want your dipstick to be in before you put oil in it, because on a lot of, especially cars, I just knocked the gasket off. On a lot of cars, if you put oil in it, it'll just come out the dipstick hole. That's no bueno. So we're going to put our 3.1 quarts of Honda approved goop in there, and we're not going to bother filming that because I'm assuming you know how to do that. And we'll come back and put covers on and reset the maintenance light and take it for a ride. Alright, we have here, we're going to put these back down underneath them little tabs. This is on the driver's side. I've already filled it with oil. The 3 liters or so. And these push pins, if you pull the center out of them, just put it back. And they got a little keyway thing, they only go in one way. And they have to be in the up position because you can see there's ramps in there that cause it to spread when it's down. Just kind of squeeze it just a little bit there at the base, and the same thing, I squeeze them just a little bit when I put them in if I can, and then push them down. They're called push pins. And then I'll put the seat back in the same way it came out, and we'll work on getting tools put away, maintenance life reset, and all that jazz. So this bad boy actually had the maintenance reminder reset, which is that little wrench while they were out playing with it here a while back. I'm going to show you how to do it here now that the maintenance has been done. So I'm going to push this mode button and I'm going to turn the key on. See that wrench comes on? I hold it. Voila. Off. Maintenance reset done. And we should now. Sounds like she's good to go, folks. We're going to take her for a little ride, a little spin. And thank you so much for watching.